How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Hope it's having a lovely day. So the Cincinnati Reds got a little lineup projection here for their starting rotation. MLB tweeted it out the other day. Rhett Lowder, Nick Martinez, Brady Singer, Nick Lodolo, Hunter Greene on that rotation list. A solid rotation. I tell you what, when I see the Reds lineup, I don't know if I'm just overly optimistic, overly biased, but I see their lineup, I see the rotation, I just look and say, dang, it is crazy to think this team wasn't a playoff team last. It feels like it's so talented. It feels like it's so difficult to get players to fit into the lineup. And more reasons. I just think Francona is going to turn the corner for this team, and we're going to see 90 plus wins, hopefully. Because again, you don't look at this team and see all these holes. You look at this team and say, how are we going to fit these players in here? The starting rotation is a prime example of that. Hunter Greene is your cog. You have to keep him. Nick Lodolo, if he stays healthy, he is your number two. You're bringing in Singer, he's gonna play. Martinez comes back, gonna play. He is used to that hybrid role if it needs to happen. Rhett Lowder, highly touted prospect, looked solid in his short amount of time getting to play. You want him to play, absolutely. The question now, what you're seeing is what you're gonna start scratching your head is, where's Andrew Abbott? I love Andrew Abbott. Big fan, mid-threes ERA the last couple seasons now. And I think, honestly, there's been a couple of different times now in that time where he's been the ace of the rotation. And in short stints, I'm not going to say all season. I'm not going to say you looked at this rotation and called him the ace, but there was, he was dominant. He's had his dominant stretches. And overall, from a whole, product perspective, he's really been, dare I say it, if you look at this rotation, I put him in at number 2 for this reason. Consistency, age, growth. This guy right now, again, we've seen he's got the ability to flash and be special. We've also seen him kind of provide some consistency in the rotation throughout the 2 years he's been here. And because he's younger, because he can be on an arbitration deal for low deal for another 4 years, there's a lot of value to having those kind of guys on your in your rotation as much as possible. And we touched on it. Nick Lodolo is your true number 2. No question about it until we get more Rhett Lowder action. Nick Lodolo is your true number 2. Really good pitcher. The problem is he can't stay healthy. That's why we brought up the consistency part. You got to remember what's consistent. You got to remember how important the consistency is for your rotation. And the last thing you want to do is send a guy down in the minors after he spent some time up here, potentially ruin the confidence, hurt, the progression that's being made. So you wonder, for me personally, I look and say, do you put Andrew Abbott in at number 5? Rhett Lowder can start in the minors. Hate to say it, but you wait until the opportunity comes where an injury might come up, and then you bring Rhett in. Because, again, the odds of a 5-man rotation staying healthy all season, very slim. There's always going to be guys going in and out of the rotation, up and down to slumps, whatever. Nick Martinez always could be a middle relief guy, whatever. Something can come up, and then Rhett can kind of slide in, and we could work his way in there. At the end of the year comes, you try to figure out what's happening. You kind of get an idea of what's happening in the rotation in general. So I do like that better, I think. And I think also you just, again, going with the consistency, going with what you had out of this. I do like, I like to keep as many lefties in the rotation as possible. Just going forward, looking in the future, if you can line up as many lefties in a rotation as possible without kind of crushing their growth or the prospects moving them somewhere else. Obviously, again, I don't see anything wrong with keeping Lowder in the minors because he hasn't been in the majors that long. But you look at that and think about the lefties. You know how important it is with the lefties because, well, David Bell showed us. There are managers in this league willing to bench their hot players, willing to bench their most consistent players, their average to above average, the cogs in the lineup. They are willing to do that. They are willing to bench them, take them out of the lineup when a lefty is on the mound and they don't bat well against them. So if you are a manager and you see that and say, if I can bring lefties in and just completely put just throw a knife in the plans of the opposing manager because they feel like they can't start player A or player B because it's a lefty. All right, go ahead. If you want to start, you want to start Kevin Newman over Jake Fraley, or you want to start Kevin Newman over a hot Spencer, whatever. Go ahead. I don't care. He's batting a little bit better. He's batting a little better against the lefties. You want to do that? Go ahead. I'll let you do it every day of the week. To me, you're doing me a favor because you're putting an overall better player on the bench. And teams do that. Teams do that. And maybe analytically it works out, maybe it doesn't. For me, though, I like the idea of forcing that inconsistency, forcing them to change things up, get them out of a rhythm. Get them thinking like Reds fans have thought, like, oh, geez, there's a lefty on the mound, ain't going to win this one. Just because there's a lefty on the mound. Lots can benefit you just because there's a lefty on the mound. He can be a good pitcher, and then there's already the teams that, well, it's a lefty. Makes the matchup even more favorable. Even if your lefties having a hard time, can be a kind of get things back on track thing because teams just struggle against the lefties. So I like it. I like it a lot, keeping Abbott in there. It's, again, a good problem for the Reds to have that they got, once again, apparent 6 starters in this rotation. Nonetheless, love y'all's thoughts. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.